The Carols of Christmas stamp set along with the card front builder thinlet dies, which are currently available for purchase as a pre-purchase from the upcoming holiday catalog, which comes out on September 1st. So you can receive a package of 3 different card ideas. This is the second in a series of 3 to create using this bundle. Or you can use the supplies to create something else with a stamp set that you might already have. And you can get them for free by placing an order through my online store at stampandsuecreates.stampandup.net. And you need to place the order between today, which is Sunday, August 27th, 2017, through Wednesday, August 30th, 2017. And after the month is over, so the end of the week, I will be putting all your packages together and getting them out to you in the mail promptly so that you will be able to create these or something else that you'd like. So let's go ahead. We're going to do a gift card holder, and I'm going to use the stamp set in here, Deck the Halls. The card previous, we used Peace on Earth, so we're going to go ahead and use Deck the Halls. Let me just grab an acrylic block. The stamp set that I'm using is a red rubber, and we also have this available in the wood mount if you like that. So let me show you the framelits that come along with it. The framelits are a lot of fun. Not only do they cut out some of these designs on here, you also get additional dies. There's one to do a double tree, and then there's a single tree. There's also these corner embellishments to do these poinsettia type flowers, or you can make them into other flowers if you choose. There's also a topper piece, which has the moon and the stars. And here are all those other little ones that will cut out all these stamped images as well. And then you have this piece, which is very unique and it's very different. And this is the piece that I used, let me find it now, to cut out this piece of vellum. So what I did, now in your kit you will have this cut out for you already, and I do have a limited amount of kits available, so hurry up and place your order in order to receive it. So what I did is I took a piece of vellum, and this piece of vellum is 4 by 3, 3¼ So I took the vellum and I laid this on top of here, and I ran it through the Big Shot, and then I took it out of the Big Shot and I flipped it over, and I covered it on the other side and ran it through the Big Shot. And then when you're done, you get this image here, which is very easy to do. And let me show you something else. Here's another card that I created. Now this one is not included in with your kit, but it just shows you with the vellum. I did a vellum overlay on a photo and made this into a photo card for the holidays. So that's my daughter and my 2 grandchildren, which this was taken last year. And I stamped over the top of the vellum, but you'll see how beautiful that is just to go on a card front. Isn't that cute? Let me show you another idea, and then we'll get started. Here it is done on vellum as well. And underneath here, I stamped the little ornaments. And I see my glue dot is coming off. But we're good here. I used a marker to color over the stamp to make the different colors on there, which is very easy to do. So there's another idea for you. Okay, so now let's get creating this fun card. Now this is not my idea. This was an idea that I found online, and that's the great thing with stamping, is that there's so many other people that create things, and you can go ahead and copy their ideas and make them your own. So we're going to do some embossing on here, and we're going to be using the gold embossing powder. So the previous design we used copper, and now we're going to use gold. We're going to do the same thing with this little pouch on the front here to help prevent any of the flakes of the embossing powder sticking where they don't belong. And I'm using Versamark ink pad again. This is the pad of my choice when I'm doing the embossing because it stays wet long. You can use our standard ink pads to emboss with as well. You just have to hurry. They do tend to dry out quickly, but this is an ink pad that is a watermark stamp pad, so you can use it on standard cardstock, and it makes a little bit, stamp on it makes a little bit deeper design color-wise, if that makes any sense. Okay, so there we are, deck the halls. Now, like before, I'm going to put a little piece of cardstock underneath, and I'm going to very generously sprinkle on the gold embossing powder. And I just have this piece underneath just to catch the extras. You want to make sure that's fully covered. And if you see it anywhere where you don't want it to be, you can use a little paintbrush to remove it, or tap it off. A lot of times tapping it off will just remove it that way as well. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to grab my scissors and my heat tool, and as before, this is going to get a little loud, but I do want to show you how fun it is. Now, you know what? Before I do that, I see a little part here. I'm not sure if I missed that or the stamp. It may be meant to be that way, but just in case. Because the stamp has a little bit of different shading to it. But okay, here we go. We're going to heat up the heat tool a little bit. I'm going to hold it off the vellum just till it kind of warms up. And then once it does, then we go ahead and emboss this. And you do have to be careful with vellum, because if you, oh, there goes our embossing already. Can you see that? Whoop. Let me hold it up here so you can see. If you hold it too long, you do risk the part of scorching either your cardstock or your vellum as well. You see that turning? I hope you do. It's part of the fun is seeing it embossed. I'll never forget the first time I saw a card embossed. I was like one of those kind of people with their mouth hanging open. So like in awe, like, really? How'd she do that? Alright, that looks good. Let me turn that off. I apologize for the sound of that, but that's just what happens. And there we are. Deck the halls. That is so stunning. Love it. Okay, now what we're going to do, we have a piece of Glimmer Gold cardstock. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use my glue dots. The only disadvantage you have with vellum is the glue will show through. So you kind of put it in places where strategically you might not see it, you know, so you can, you know, hide it underneath where the embossing is. We just want to have a couple glue dots on here to hold this. And the glue dots hold very well with the glimmer paper. And let me just put a couple of them on here. And maybe one more. Okay. So this is going to go on top of here. And then what's going to happen is that little bit of glimmer is going to show through. And you can go ahead and add more. Like, see, I think I probably need one up here in this corner, because the embossing tends to make this vellum paper kind of bow a little bit. I think that looks good. So we'll leave that for now. If we need to add more later, we can. No problem. Okay, so here is a piece of, I was going to say crumb cake, cherry cobbler. And the piece is cut at 11 by 4, 4 1/4. I had to really check that one. And what we want to do with this is pre-scored for you already when you get it. So it's going to be scored at 3 1/2 and just a little bit in between. I don't really have the true dimensions. No, it's actually more like 3 3/4, but just a little bit in between to kind of give you enough to just give you a little extra thickness right there. So it's just like a smidge, like an 1/8 from that score line will give you that. And the bone folder would be good at this point if I had one, but I don't have one currently. Oh, I do see it, but I don't want an avalanche. Here we go. Okay, so bone folder. Oh, if there's like take 2, like that's when I would do that. But many of you know I don't edit my videos. I just feel this is me. The other score is at 9, but when you get your kit, this will be scored for you already. So this is how we're going to make our little gift card holder. So what we want to do is down on the bottom here, we're going to make some little marks in here to create the matchbook design. So this is an envelope punch board, and we're not going to make an envelope, although you can. We're going to use this to make little notches for our matchbook cover. So right at the 1 here is where we're going to put the end, and we're going to punch. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same on the other side at the 1 and punch. We are done with that. So what that's going to do is that's going to create a little spot here, and it'll make more sense later when we're done, where that will tuck inside just like that. Okay? So now this piece is going to go ahead and get adhered to there. So let me go ahead and do that. And we're going to put that up on the top here. We're going to center that. Just like so. Okay, there we go. We'll put that aside. Now for the inside part, we have a piece of a Very Vanilla, which is 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 by 3 3/4, and then we have that scored at 1 3/4 and at 6. So this top piece is going to get folded down like this. Then let's grab our stamp set again, and we are going to use this little line piece. Let me grab some more blocks. So we're going to do that, and this is where your little grid paper comes in handy to line that up straight. And then we're going to use just this little piece. So we're using this one, and we're using this one. And normally I would use a smaller block, but I'm just going to like keep my fingers crossed that this works. Okay, so we're using Cherry Cobbler ink. We're just going to decorate this up a little bit. And stamp this here. Just like that. And then I'm going to use this little corner doodaddy, because now this is going to flip up. So I'm going to stamp here and there, just like that. Easy, right? All right, so now what we want to do, we're going to bring our card back in. I'm going to have to put another piece of glue dot on the bottom there, I'm seeing. Okay, so we're going to take our snail adhesive and run that along the top of this piece here. And then what